guys, a very warm welcome to Motorhoming Adventures.
Motorhoming Adventures.
Absolutely, this is our new channel, and the old one being...
It was offshore and onshore adventures, but here we're going to bring you all things motorhoming, the UK, Europe, further afield, who knows.
Absolutely, and we'll also be bringing across some of our original films that are on our old channel, or motorhoming films of course, and we'll be bringing them onto this channel so you don't miss out.
Absolutely, yeah. So stay tuned. All things motorhoming, technical, trips, travels, you name it. It's great to have you along.
Yeah, absolutely. And if you enjoy the channel, please do subscribe.
Oh, of course. Please do subscribe. And of course, the odd like is good too.
Thank you. And thank you once again to all of our subscribers and all the comments that we're getting on our channel. Really enjoying chatting to you.
Yeah, definitely. Keep asking the questions. We enjoy fielding all your questions and of course sending the answers back. So any questions you have or any observations or anything that you might want to add to make our motorhoming life even easier, then let us know.
Absolutely. So today we're going to be walking around Settle. Beautiful North Yorkshire town. We're staying with my sister-in-law Anne, and she shall be taking us on a lovely local walk, and we should be sharing some of that beautiful scenery with you and a little bit of local knowledge.
Yeah, absolutely. Resi the Moho is going to have a bit of a rest today, and we're going to get our legs working for a little bit of a tour around Settle. So do join us for that lovely scenery that Nikki's mentioned. We look forward to having you along. See you shortly.
So, quick update. Since we started out from Tenby on this trip, we're just over 300 miles. And you can see in that time this mobile Vetta K-Yacht is a 2.3 litre engine, and we've been getting at the moment 27.9 to the gallon over those 300 miles, and just in total, as you can see, since new, just gone over the 1,000 miles, 1,059 miles. So we'll keep an eye on that, and I'll keep you updated on how the fuel and MPG goes. So we've come up to the fabulous North Yorkshire, and I've stopped overnight at my sister's, who lives in this lovely little town of Settle. So we're going out for a stroll around Settle, and I'll show you some of this lovely scenery around this town. Beautiful place. So just turned up a lovely little lane called Banks Lane, which takes us up pretty high towards Langcliffe, a little settlement over the other side of the hill, and some lovely views we'll get from here back over Settle. So look at that view. Right up here there's an old quarry up there, and if we look a little bit further to the left, you can see in the distance there Giggleswick village, the chapel that's part of the big private school at Giggleswick. And of course down here, a little bit closer, you just see the viaduct there of the good old Settle Carlisle Railway. Another beautiful part of this country, which takes you, if necessary, by steam train up and over that fabulous Ribblehead viaduct, which is a bit further up the line towards Carlisle. But just breathtaking this morning only about 4 or 5 degrees, and therefore a bit of a nip in the air, hence this lovely climb up the hill here. Gets the blood going and definitely gets us warm. Nikki has completely lost the plot. She's dancing, anything to get warm, eh? Look at that. Sun over the hill. That's where we've come from, just toddling up this hill. Beautiful.
So the tanks that you can see down there, that's the Arla dairy, and it's Settle's largest industry.
Wow, plenty of milk and yummy stuff out of that place. In fact, we might even be walking past that later. And then look at that, off into the distance now towards the Penny Ghent area. For those of you who might have been up that, that's a nice mountain. Look at those scenery, they're lovely and sharp today. Lovely and sharp today. So in the distance there we've got the Langcliffe paper mill, which is still active, and in fact you can see some caravans, perhaps motorhomes down there. What a great spot just down the dip there. And then back here we've got the watershed mill there, which is an old weaving mill, which is now a visitor centre there. But just on a day like this, wow, that's all you can say really. Just stunning Yorkshire countryside. God's country, as they say. Oh yeah. Yeah, no steamer just yet. That's a shame, that would have been nice. But nonetheless, on that iconic line, they'll have just had a lovely view of Ribblehead Viaduct on the way into Settle. So a slightly better view there of the old limestone quarry, and there in the distance is the lovely Ingleborough with that flat top there. Years and years ago, back in the 80s, Nikki and I took mountain bikes off the top of that. What a fantastic cycle down there that was. That was many a moon ago. And there, straight in front of us, in that shadow just there, that's a peak called Penny Ghent. Again, another one which we've been up. That's lovely. In fact, there's a little primary school at the base of that mountain, which we years ago built a playground at in another life of mine before retirement. Had a lovely little village school there. And I don't know whether you can see it, but just down in there you can see what is a number of caravans there at Night Stainforth. Little hamlet there called Little Stainforth. Again, look at that, what a spot that would be to come for a few days in your caravan. Some amazing walking where we've come up from Settle, but all these lovely hills around. Some beautiful spots here for you guys. Look it up. Look at those beautiful beech trees, just turning colour. Enjoying yourself up here, Nikki? Isn't it lush, eh? Absolutely fab. With the sun out, cool northerly breeze today. That's one of my favourite days. Cold, sunny, almost frosty this morning, and a walk with crystal clear views. Just lovely days. And dropping down quite steeply here, try not to end up on the backside, down into a lovely little hamlet of Langcliffe. colours are just amazing. Such a lovely time of year. And this lovely building on the end here, this is the what was the old Langcliffe Primary School. Lovely little place. And my sister, bless her, looked after Giggleswick Primary School, which is just up the road, another lovely old Yorkshire primary school building. She was head there for 30 odd years. Morning! Morning! An amazing innings at a fantastic school. Look at that lovely village green. Yeah, what have we got here? Some old... Ah, you can't dig, cut, break up or remove or attempt to remove any turf, sod, loam or gravel from any portion of the green. Nice. Don't be a sod on the green. No carts, trucks, no perambulators or wheelchair. Fantastic. And if you offend against the bylaws, a penalty of £5 and further offences for 40 shillings. Outrageous. Remember, no turfing or loaming. Down towards the paper mill that we saw from right up at the top of the hill, and needless to say, close to that good old railway line. Wouldn't that be a good time to have one of the steamers coming by? So if you're ever lucky enough to travel this railway, even on a steamer or otherwise, there you go, there's a good target. Framed by the railway, Penny Ghent. Put that one on your list. Lovely views up there, I can tell you. And then back towards Settle down the line here. Another lovely little spot there, look at that. And we're right down in Langcliffe Paper Mill Yard. The footpath just comes right through the yard, literally. And look, some stacks of cardboard here.
This has been recycled from old paper into
fantastic.
Cardboard,
yeah.
That's what they do here.
Recycling in action. And another load or two heading out. Look at that, they're lovely old buildings. With a bit of modern thrown in over there. The mix of old and new. And a footpath squished in between all of it. Wow, look at that.
Fantastic to see a mill still working, isn't it?
Yeah. There's a little sluice overflow, and this is all obviously artificially created years and years ago. Big water supply to feed the paper mill there. The river, of course, and this is all part of it. The river, of course, going through the valley there. So some real history. Some history in these here hills. So we've come through the mill, and now we're just coming up to our first crossing of the Ribble. which goes through Settle. We're just on the outskirts of Settle though. All that recent rain making the river charge along. Look at that. Lovely. Old quarry up there in the background you can see. And then actually, if you look just down here, this bit just here, that's actually a salmon ladder that makes it a little bit more easy or easier for the salmon to get up this rise here. Wouldn't fancy being a salmon myself, having to jump up that lot, or that lot to be fair. Wow, I'd love to see them going up there. Heading towards another little hamlet here. These houses in the distance are all part of a tiny hamlet called Stackhouse. Some other walkers just up there ahead of us. And all those amazing colours there in the distance on the hill. Every shade of brown and gold. Look at that tiny little hamlet. Look at that place. Absolutely lovely. Beautiful. Stackhouse Hamlet. Literally a hamlet, only a little handful of houses here. And then on up the lane here is up towards Stainforth, which Little Stainforth and that. And some lovely places to A, camp, B, catch the salmon jumping there. Fabulous spot. To another lovely little gate and these beautiful stone walls. As we come away from Stackhouse, so we're generally winding our way back towards Settle now. Over to the left here, just down now in the dip, is the paper mill, so we sort of worked our way around there. You can still hear the activity there from the forklifts and stuff. Morning sheep. Wow. You'd never know the difference, would you, Russ? Between you and a sheep. Now you can probably just hear and see right down on the bottom there. Back to the ribble there. And then up to the peaks.
Mill just over that
yeah.
way, through the trees.
Absolutely. That lovely sound as we come back towards the river again. You just see the chimney there in the distance. That was Watershed Mill. And the fabulous ribble again. And I look back up to the up there, that's where we came along earlier, along that ridge there. Well, not on top of it, but halfway up there above those copses, trees. And the Settle Football Club as we come back in towards the town itself. Lovely. And over the other side there is the another salmon ladder, and we're now just coming to Settle here. And then a lovely little football ground that Settle has here, looking like an absolute billiard table there. Beautiful. What a spot to play a game of footy, eh? So this is actually the main A65, which comes through Settle And gosh, I've been coming here since the 80s. I remember in the I think it was the early 90s when they built the Settle bypass, which takes the 65 past the town now. Made a huge difference, obviously. Still gets a fair bit of quarry traffic. In fact, there's one just coming now by the looks of it, a quarry truck. But made the town, yeah, that's a quarry truck, but made the town a lovely spot, a bit quieter from all that crazy heavy goods traffic. Fabulous indeed. Just there you can see the sign as you go out of Settle over the bridge here and into Giggleswick. What a lovely name that is, and an equally lovely little village. But we're now heading back into over the bridge and into Settle. And I'm just going to take you down the side road here and show you something which is which Settle have added to make use of the Ribble. So what I brought you around to see is the Settle Hydro, as they call it, and it's as you see there, built in 2009, but it's an Archimedes screw, so it's using the water to generate, and you get the detail of what it generates. They're 900 kilowatts when it's flying per day, and you can just see it running under here as it harnesses that amazing power of the river here. We'll come over the other side. Here's the salmon ladder just here. But and a mahusive bit of driftwood coming downstream there. That's got well and truly stuck. And in fact, I've been over the decades that I've been coming to Settle to visit my sis. I've seen the water right up and over the football pitch here, where this we can certainly not stand on this bit here because all this is underwater as well. And you can see in fact evidence over there of the sandbags and stuff trying to hold it back from flooding the football pitches again. So you can imagine this in full rage is an absolutely formidable beast of a river. But the Archimedes screw here, some really good innovative way to generate quite a substantial amount of electricity. And there's some information too about their work to make it more salmon friendly. Great little project, and another great addition to the town. So chatting to Anne, who's obviously lives here, saying that the water level was actually up to almost the top of this wall at one point when it flooded in the last year or two. Just incredible how you can imagine how from right down here the water can then get itself up to almost the top of this wall. Yeah, a raging torrent, the power of nature in action. And I bet if you own one of these little places here, you'd be slightly nervous. There you've got the old 65 signpost sending you out towards the bypass, and then up to Stainforth and Langcliffe where we were looping around that footpath earlier. And literally 3 or 4 days ago, where Nikki and Anne are walking there, the water was up over the path here. Just amazing. A lot of rain, but just incredible how quickly it subsides again. But an absolute raging torrent. And here we've come right back down. You'll recognise that from the earlier clip in the film of the Arla factory, dairy. They've also been doing lots of work here. Just recently rebuilt all of this wall here, which was suffering, of course, because if the water was as high as we've just heard, then the wallway there was taking a right battering. So a major job to rebuild all that part of the wall there, so that factory units didn't start disappearing into the river. You can see the join just there where the old wall meets the new, so they had to literally divert some of the water, sandbag it, pump it out so they could get the footings in. Incredible bit of engineering, really. And with waters as changeable as we've seen, with them right up over the path here, then a real challenge for the wall builders, that's for sure, or for the planners that and the engineers that plan the work. And you can just see just up through the trees the top of Giggleswick School Chapel. Giggleswick School is was a big fee-paying school, still is, and all these grounds here, part of extensive grounds that they own all round and through the village of Giggleswick. The primary school that my sister looked after as the head there was a state primary school, but really a lot of the village surrounded and owned by the private school at Giggleswick. Some beautiful buildings there. Look at that, what a lovely set of allotments. Every type of polytunnel and shed, and then, a bit random, but a fabulous monkey puzzle tree. Love those trees. Over to the Land Rover dealership in the town. But there's got to be every shed and polytunnel going there. Very active allotments. So we've crossed back over the 65, just going down through one of the little estates on the edge of Settle, all of which has these amazing backdrops. Incidentally, that car park, Greenfoot car park, that's often a site for, in fact you can see some motorhomes manoeuvring there. That's a good spot for motorhome parking in Settle if you're fancying the trip here. Castlewood Crag just up above the motorhome car park there, and that's the sort of backs of the houses that front onto the A65 in town. In fact, this bit up there where you can see in this light the terracing there, that's called the Lynchets, and that goes way back. I'm no historian, but medieval, where they used to terrace the side of the hill here to create more planting space. Yeah, some a real historical settlement. Don't know what its origins date-wise are. I'm sure one of you watching might have a better idea of that, but certainly a fair decade, century and beyond of history here in Settle. And we're just coming into the lower edges of what they describe as Upper Settle, which is a lovely little part of Settle. All these lovely little stone cottages. In fact, just up there, that's a little ginnel there, is Lower Cross Street. When my sister first moved into Settle, just a bit even further up, is Higher Cross Street, and that's where she first lived, which would have been in the early 80s, that would have been. 1980s, not 1880s. Now on the green here at Upper Settle is, believe it or not, look at that, it's a gallery, the smallest in the country at one point, the smallest. So in we go, and look at that, isn't that amazing? Absolutely amazing. They changed the artists and the displays, so at the moment we've got one entitled The Underdogs. Look, even the floor, I love that. A bit of mosaic work there. Of course the handgel. Isn't that fabulous? That's what you call reusing. probably not so suitable for motorhomes coming through these little narrow streets, but we're now in effect just down there, down the steps and the footpath there. That drops down into the car park, Greenfoot car park, where I mentioned you can get motorhome parking. So yeah, up the steps and you're up in this lovely little upper settle area. Beautiful hills just poking out the top there and in the distance. One of those unspoilt towns. Yes, there's building here and there's development and there's still a bit of industry, but when you're in places like this, these parts of the town, it's just beautiful. The contrast, and indeed the way they've converted some of the old buildings here into housing, done pretty well. Junction Lodge. Look at that lovely old building. Wow, an old chapel there converted back into a house. My shadow seems to be chasing me everywhere I go. Weird that. Look at that, lovely little cottages. Squeezed in everywhere. Oh, fabulous. Somebody enjoying themselves with a terrace garden here. Look at that. Bit of leftover Halloween. About the 4th of November today, so such a peaceful little town. Love the curved shapes of the ends of the buildings there, making use of every last bit of space in the street. Parking at a premium, as you can see, squeezed in. But well worth it to get those views out of the back of the house. That's a lovely little walk up there, very steep climb up towards Castlebrook Crag, and a little bit of information they leave for you there. But yeah, beautiful. And an amazing viewpoint of the town from up there if you take the steep route up. Lovely little cobbledy streets. And every bend is a wow moment, whether you're in the town or up on those crags we were on earlier. And finally we just dropped down Constitution Hill and we're into Sutton Market Square. Lovely spot. A really favourite spot for, well, lots of things, but walkers, hikers, mountain bikers. A big meet up for motorbikers coming through the 65 and onto the Lake District. and particularly over there you'll see that cafe, Ye Old Naked Man Cafe. That's a great spot. A great spot. So all the bikes park up in the square here, over to the cafe over there, the walkers, the mountain bikers, and a lovely stop off, especially on a day like today. But in summer you can imagine this whole square here is full, and of course market day fills the square here as well. And this of course is the 65 that we mentioned earlier and that we've crossed several times whilst going around the town. One of the quarry wagons coming through. It's the last of the heavy traffic that comes through the town now since they did the bypass. And a loop round, finally at the end of that stroll round Settle. There's Resi parked up enjoying her rest for the day, for the morning. 5.5 miles round the town. Bit grubby after all that rain we came through in North Wales. See if those seals have dried off. Yep, that's all bone dry there and ready for the thermal cover next time we're off. We're one more night here in Settle and then we're off to the Lake District for 3 or 4 nights. Yeah, she's clearly enjoyed her rest. She looks happy. Underneath a fabulous rowan tree. Look at the colours in there. Beautiful. I hope you've enjoyed that little stroll round Settle. Such a nice town. And well, a fabulous rain, wind, snow, but on a day like today, a little bit of Christmas in the air. Crispness, not Christmas, not going to say the C word yet. It can't, it's hard to be beaten. That walk around, absolutely lovely. Can feel a roast dinner coming on later, which will be a perfect way to end that walk.
We really hope that you've enjoyed that day with us, walking around Settle. It's been amazing in terms of the weather. The
corking
sun.
Day, wasn't that a corking day?
It certainly was. And some amazing views, and Anne introduced us to lots of local knowledge, which was great.
Yeah, a fabulous town, isn't it? Been going there for crikey since the early 1980s. Just love some of that scenery around Settle. So hope you enjoyed a bit of that too. And we're now onward and upward to the Lake District now. So really looking forward to that. Thanks again to all of you for watching. Do subscribe if you haven't already. It is completely free, of course. And we hope to have you along for our next film. Thanks very much, guys.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you so much. And yeah, just a reminder, if you do go up to the Lake District, stop off at Settle. It's great.
Yes. See you guys. Bye now. Bye.
Bye.